Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in today's podcast, we're going to be previewing the big matches taking place in the EPL Game Week 3. Now, of course, joining me this evening and returning to the podcast, we have Sir Cole.
Pleasure, everyone. Greetings. Good to be back.
We also have Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, gents, two big games coming up. We're going to kick things off over there at the Emirates. Arsenal versus Brighton, two unbeaten teams in the league. And that's a big clash coming up on Saturday. Christoph, I'll come to you on this one as the Arsenal man. How are you seeing this game? What's the expectation?
For me, the expectation is Arsenal to win, honestly. But Brighton is one of those teams where Arsenal have a bit of a spotty record against. I mean, last season Arsenal did do the double over them, but previous seasons Brighton has gotten the better of Arsenal on a number of occasions. EFL Cup, Premier League, beating them in the Premier League 3-0 and so on. So it's um it's a challenge, but you're going to be title contenders. Then this is a game that you are expecting that Arsenal will go into knowing that they can win and getting that result at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, early in the season, but this is a game Arsenal has to take advantage of. Of course, Brighton is no pushover, unbeaten in the league, 2 win on the bunks, and of course, riding high after taking down Manchester United in their previous game. But Sir Cole, can Brighton create an early upset in the league? Can they maintain their unbeaten record? And can they put an early dent into the Arsenal challenge?
They can maintain the unbeaten record. However, it will be a bit difficult, I think, to go to the Emirates and actually come away with 3 points. Not that they can't, but I just think Arsenal may be a bit too much for them at this time.
So is it a case where Arsenal strength is gonna be key, or is it just the comforts of home, so to speak? Because Brighton is playing some good quality football. Welbeck is there on former Arsenal man as well. Scored against his former team in the last game. He is a big threat up front. And of course, the coach over there at Brighton has this team playing some quality football, building from the top or from the back, I should say, and also pressing high defensively. So, I mean, I think Arsenal will have some struggles against this vibrant Brighton team with nothing really to lose and all to play for. I mean, no threat, or can Brighton pose a threat?
Yes, they will pose a threat, but posing a threat is different from coming away with 3 points. So it will be a hard fought 3 points. Mind you, as title contenders, you're expected to win at least the home game. So no matter how the record that they come in with, you still expect at least the home team as well as the higher ranked team to really get a job done. They have impressed so far, yes. They are playing some good stuff. They have looked good in their 2 games so far. I believe they played as well in the Carabao Cup as well. They played a midweek game, and which they won as well. So they are playing some good stuff, but Arsenal maybe a bit too much for them at this point.
Indeed, indeed. But Christoph, I mean, from an Arsenal perspective, are you anticipating any changes to the starting 11, or is it a rinse, wash, repeat type situation for Arteta? Same 11 as they had versus Aston Villa, or does Zinchenko come back into the mix? That man, which, you often point out as being the weak link in the Arsenal defense, or has Timber now secured his spot in that 11? Any
Um,
changes to the
I don't
11?
know. I don't know if Timber has secured his spot, and we certainly know that left back position will probably see a lot of rotation throughout the season based on the opposition. But I wouldn't put Zinchenko. I don't think Arteta is going to put Zinchenko back into the starting lineup for this game. I think Timber or Calafiori will get that spot. Any other change, I think Martinelli will probably be dropped for Trossard, who is a former Brighton player, and as you said, these things are often written in the script. So we
Indeed.
might
Yeah. I
say
mean, former players scoring against their former teams.
right. So I mean that's the only change I would make for this game, and that's the only change that Arteta is likely to make. But with players like Eddie Nketiah out, you know, being sold to, I think, Crystal Palace and Vieira going out on loan. It's more a matter of what is Arsenal going to be doing in the next couple of days in the transfer window. When you
Well,
have
I
only
mean, the
one
transfer
real
window
striker.
slam shut tomorrow, so there's not much they can do unless
Yeah,
it's
but deals,
outgoings to Saudi Arabia, whose
no,
window
no.
will
But
probably still be open until Monday.
the deadline, the big deadline, the deals have been made before in the past. You
Well,
know,
I
I,
mean, what more does Arsenal need?
I
Can't
personally, I
Arteta win
think
the league with the personnel at his disposal now? What more can they possibly bring into the team to strengthen?
I think Arsenal are still in need of a striker up front, somebody who can be a first choice striker and will take those chances provided.
Mm.
You know,
So
doesn't
any
need a
names
hundred
out there?
chances.
Who are the names being rumored? I mean, Ivan Tony, I believe, is still available.
I wouldn't sign Ivan Toney.
Mm.
I heard that Victor Osimhen is looking to leave. You know that is potentially on the table. I think probably Victor Gokieres is probably out of the question at the moment. Having Arsenal having waited so long, it should have. I feel like perhaps a striker should have been the first signing that
But I
they got at
mean,
the beginning of the
if
window.
Arsenal doesn't sign a striker, does that diminish their chances of lifting the league title? Is that what you're saying, that the title is built on Arsenal signing a striker, or can they win the title with the players currently at their disposal?
I think the squad needs more depth. So
Mm.
Arsenal, if as I said, I think Arsenal go on to win the title this season. But should they not, I think it will probably be as a result of lack of squad depth, especially with the new Champions League format where teams are playing more games as well. So that squad is going to be stretched even more thinly than it was probably the last two seasons.
All possibilities, all possibilities. Time, as you said, time is there. One more day before the transfer window slam shut. And I mean, it would be a big shock to me if Arsenal did make any other signings to really bolster their squad. I mean, they have a very robust squad circle. What says you? Can't Arsenal win the title circle with the players there? Why they need to dip into the transfer window and spend millions? Are the players
There's
not good enough that's available?
there's absolutely no need to, because had they won one of the games versus Aston Villa, had they picked up another 3 points from anywhere last season, it would have been league champions without this mythical big striker that is mentioned all the time. It's a matter of believing in who you have, because they do have a good system which brings out the best in players. You may have a system where you have one striker getting over 20 goals and the rest of the team getting the odd 4 or 5. Arsenal has a more rounded system where you don't have a one dominant striker getting a number of goals, but the goals are shared around the team. So that has working for them. So bringing in an established number 9 really and truly isn't that here and there, because the action is shared among the other players anyway.
Definitely. I concur. I concur. I mean, I think Arsenal has enough to get the job done, but will they is the big question. But for this game, Sir Cole, what's your prediction? I mean, Brighton is the immediate opponent. We can't be looking too far ahead of ourselves and miss this Brighton hurdle. What's your score prediction for this one?
It will be a tight game. Each team, showing respect to the other, as almost both teams are on 6 points. I really don't see it turning into a high scoring affair. Um, 1-0, 1-0 to Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. What says you, Christoph?
I think it's 2-0 to Arsenal.
2-0 to Arsenal. Definitely, Arsenal have been keeping a few clean sheets. Still haven't conceded in the league. Brighton themselves has conceded only one goal. That one versus Manchester United. They blanked Everton in their first fixture, 3-0. Uh, Tough game, tough game. I do see Arsenal possibly nipping it as well, but I think Brighton will get on the score sheet also. So for me, I'm gonna call this one 2-1 to Arsenal. That's 2-1 to the Gunners. And the Gunners' winning streak, in my estimation, should continue. This should be three on the bounce and possibly league leaders early in the season come the end of this game week. But we move circle and we move to the theater of dreams, or these days it might be the theater of nightmares. Liverpool versus Manchester United, or Manchester United versus Liverpool. Manchester United, of course, playing at home. And circle, I'm going to kick the ball to you on this one. Talk to us. What can we expect from this game? Is it going to be another big derby, sir, early in the season?
It will be a big derby simply because of who the opponents are. Right now, I don't believe there's any reason for Man U to fear Liverpool. Man U faced Liverpool last season 3 times and didn't lose any of those games. 2 draws and Man U won in the FA Cup. So we do have a way of good way of playing against Liverpool. Man U over the longer stretch, the last few years, Liverpool have probably come out on the better side of that record. But I believe I'm confident in my team going into this weekend.
Indeed, definitely Liverpool need to put things right. And I say the law of averages should definitely come to the fore. In this one, Liverpool have been a superior opponent to Manchester United, in my estimation, even though the results might not have shown that over the last 3 matches. But surely Liverpool must get a win in this one. Better quality squad, new coach, confidence in the team. Surely, Christoph, talk to us. How do you see this one playing out?
Um, on paper, Liverpool should it's a game Liverpool should be winning easily, but as we saw last season and with Manchester United, aside from say, Man City where they seem to crumple like a wet paper bag, Man United does tend to show up for these bigger games, point point in point of reference is that they did beat Liverpool in that FA Cup tie. A game where Liverpool, based on the chances created, should have won comfortably, but United,
Definitely. As well as in that league game as well. To me, that's where Liverpool season turned, in all
right.
honesty.
So Liverpool did beat them in the FA Cup and then did somehow magically go on to beat Man City in the finals. To be honest, so. I don't know. It's a tricky game. I think honestly, I think that game probably ends 2-2. I think while Ten Hag, to be honest, and Man United have been doing foolishness, there is to me they have some idea of what they're getting at. They're just not probably not getting the results that they want.
I beg to differ. I thought in those last 3 fixtures, it was Liverpool's poor finishing which let them down. Chances were created left, right, and center. Manchester United literally had no answers, so Liverpool had only themselves to blame. In all honesty, they pretty much beat themselves, and I don't think it's gonna be 4 games on the bounce. I think Slot will go to Old Trafford and get a result there. If Liverpool can continue to create the sort of chances they created over those last 3 games, surely, Sir Cole, the likes of a Salah, a Jota, a Diaz must take a couple of those chances and put Manchester United to bed. Of course, this is a big derby game, and oftentimes they say form goes through the window. Liverpool, of course, unbeaten in their last 2. Manchester United coming off a loss to Brighton. No playing at home. I see nothing other than a Liverpool win, and I am looking forward to a high-scoring, entertaining game circle. What says you? Can Manchester United pull out another miracle and get a win over Liverpool?
No, it wouldn't be a miracle. It wouldn't be a miracle at all. A miracle.
Well,
Salah are Salah, Jota, and Diaz new players. No, they were there last season as well. They played and Man U played the Peter role. They denied Liverpool 3 times. So Man U just has the mechanism to get the result, regardless of how the team looks, regardless of how
right.
shabby we may play. We may just be the West Indies of this thing and be able to pull it off against the big boys, but lose against the minnows just the same.
Definitely that seemed to be the case. Manchester United rising to the occasion, and it could be a case of that style of play really suiting them. Oftentimes when they play against the bigger teams, those teams tend to dominate possession, and Manchester United find themselves playing on the counter, so to speak. While when they play against the so-called smaller team, they are expected to dominate the possession. The smaller team normally sits off a bit, lock up defensively, and then Manchester United really find it hard to break these teams down, which is why I say until United can really come up with an effective system against these teams which tend to approach these games defensively, they're going to struggle in the league. And to me, they might pull out the odd result here or there, but overall, I feel they will probably still finish in and around mid-table. Top 10, yes, but probably just sitting outside of those European spots. But, time is the master, time will tell. But for me, Sir Cole, I see nothing other than a Liverpool win. In all honesty, I think Slot has managed to get the team playing his style of play, getting the patterns and the philosophy correct. It seems like a seamless transition from Jurgen Klopp. And definitely, judging by the last two games and what we saw also in preseason, this Liverpool team is looking like a well-oiled machine. And thus far, they're churning out the results, circle. And I am looking forward to this one to put a nail in that United coffin, probably bore another hole in that Old Trafford roof.
No, man, don't get carried away with 2 wins at the start of the season. You have played two of the lesser teams. You haven't paid anybody yet. Both
Well,
teams,
I guess this is the first big test for Liverpool then, you would say.
it is. So
Mm.
there's no need to be, painting Liverpool as great juggernauts when it's only two games into the
Well, I mean,
season.
when you look at the sort of dominance Liverpool have shown versus this Manchester United team, circle, last season they met three times and it was total dominance by Liverpool. The result did not go their
Well,
way, I
the
can
score sheet
concur,
says
but
otherwise. The score sheet we say otherwise, and the most important statistic is what the score sheet says. So we were dominant on the score sheet. So it doesn't matter how much position you had, how much time you hit the crossbar, how many saves. All that is null and void, provided you can come away with the required result, which is what Manu has been able to find a way to do.
right? And what have they been doing, circle? Because I really haven't seen them really putting up any real defensive showings. To me, it's just Liverpool being wasteful in front of goals. In front of goal, I should say, our players getting chances and missing. I didn't really see Manu really asserting themselves in the game of such. So what is it
Well,
Ten Hag needs to do in this match in particular? I mean, those games are in the past, but looking forward to this game, what does Ten Hag need to do in order to get a result? Do you see any changes to the starting 11, for example?
a few changes can be made. Yes, we have much room for changes. Don't know if he'll start Garnacho this game. Maybe give Tingley a rest, Rashford a rest. Um, Mount is out, so likely Bruno may revert to the number 10 start. Xerxes up top. So really not sure what he will come up with.
Plus
But
the,
I
plus
just
the new
hope that
signings as well, Sir Cole. You have a number of new signings coming in.
yeah, we
Delight, for
do.
example,
We
Mazraoui.
basically
And
well
I hear you
that's
guys
started that
sign another central midfielder since yesterday, Ugarte.
Right. Yeah. So as I'm saying, we're really in a guessing game now as to who the starting 11 will be. But I just hope that come end of the game, Manu has more goals than Liverpool, and I'll be okay
Ah.
with that.
What says you though, Christoph, in terms of a predicted scoreline and how do you see the game playing out in general?
I think it will be a 2-all draw, to be
Two
honest.
all draw.
Right. That's why I think the outcome will be. I think Liverpool will score, but again, because Manu tends to show up for these big games for some reason. Probably because they get to play their preferred style, counter-attacking because they can't dominate these teams. They do tend to get those goals in those games. So I'm going to go with a 2-all draw. I know Liverpool will score. Salah is in top form. If Liverpool do get the win, look to Mohamed Salah to be scoring that winning goal, probably. But I favor a 2-all draw for this game.
For me, I'm looking at a dominant 3-0 performance circle, in all honesty. I'm looking for Liverpool to really take the game to this Manchester United team. Get an early goal, turn the crowd, and I think this Liverpool team may set the cat amongst the pigeon and end up winning this one 3-0. But what says you, Sir Cole, in terms of your predicted scoreline?
I'm calling it just like Christoph, just not 2-2. I'm calling it a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Oh, so so you're sitting on the fence circle.
Yeah,
Another
I'm defense on
draw.
this one.
Indeed, indeed. But number of other games on display circle. We're just gonna quickly run through and get your predicted scoreline for these games. Brentford versus Southampton. What says you?
Southampton were a bit unlucky in that first game. Even though they lost, they still played some good ball. Brentford, I think, has been playing above what persons have expected so far, especially with their little dilemma with Tony. But I still see I see Brentford coming away with a win in this one. Low scoring. Brentford 2-0.
Brentford 2-0. And Christoph, I'll come to you on this one. Everton takes on Bournemouth. What says you?
Um, I think it'll be an interesting game. Uh, that's Everton at home, right?
Everton at home, that's right.
I think it will be a 2-1 win to Everton.
2-1 win to Everton. Sir Cole, Ipswich versus Fulham.
Well, Ipswich hasn't shown much so far. They were very fortunate to have gotten that goal last week against Man City. Don't really see them creating much versus this team, Fulham. I see Fulham coming away with a easy 3-0 win in this one.
3-0 will to the Fulham. Leicester versus Aston Villa, Christoph.
I would go with Aston Villa for that one.
Aston
2-0.
Villa. 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Yes.
Forest Wolves, Sir Cole. Forest versus
Forest,
Wolves.
Forest I think, has been playing some good football as well. Last season they created a bit of interest for me in terms of their attacking play. I think they have improved as a team, and I see them coming out with a win in this one. 2-1.
2-1. Forest there. Christoph, West Ham versus Man City.
Man City. Come on, man.
So
Would
you're
that really
giving West
expect?
Ham no chance in that one?
I don't believe West Ham have a chance. No.
West Ham, of course, playing at home also. I mean, I think West Ham will come with a puncher's chance. They
I
could
think that is
possibly make a
irrelevant.
upset early in the season.
I think that
Manchester
is
City
irrelevant.
not yet firing on all cylinders.
Irrelevant.
So what says you in terms of the scoreline?
Probably 3-0 Man City.
3-0 to Man City. Sir Cole, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Chelsea had a very good outing last week, putting 6 past Wolves. If they tighten up on the defense, they should be able to come away with this one. That being said, Palace really hasn't been doing very much defensively. I expect Chelsea to get the better of that defense many times. So I'm calling it 3-1 Chelsea.
3-1 to Chelsea. And final one on the board, Christoph. Newcastle versus Tottenham. Newcastle at home versus Tottenham.
Um, I think that might end in a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Interesting call there. Definitely. High flying Spurs, I would say, versus yeah, 2-2 draw is a fair call, but I think there might be a winner in that one. I'm gonna go with the home team in this one. Newcastle to win 2-1, I think, but it could go either way, in all honesty. Any scoreline could play. These are two very unpredictable teams, in all honesty, and they are yet to settle. They are yet to settle offensively. Isak really not firing, and they are yet to settle defensively. Newcastle again being hit by an injury bug. A number of their top first choice centre backs are out injured, and it's really the squad depth which is being tested early on. And it's very unpredictable what you may see week in, week out. But any final thoughts, gents? We are quickly running out of time. Another exciting set of matches coming up on the weekend. Any final thoughts? Big derby, Liverpool Man U is the game to watch come Sunday, but lots of other fixtures taking place. Final thoughts, Sir Cole?
Well, not really. I thought that was be a question. Most times on the weekend we get a red card. Which game do you see the red card coming in for this weekend?
Mm. Ah, that's a tough one. Possible Spurs Newcastle, I would say. Spurs
But my
Newcastle.
call, my call for the red card game is Man U pool. I think the Man U Liverpool derby we have a red card in it.
Well, I mean, derby games are always fiery. I don't really see it as yet per se. New coach there in slot. I'm not sure if he has a history with the manager Ten Hag, but over the last 3 games, it has been fiery, but not to the point of red cards. But I mean, who to tell? Anything is possible with VAR these days. But any final thoughts, Christoph? What says you?
Looking forward to an interesting weekend. Want to see Arsenal win. But definitely I'm interested to see the Man United Liverpool game to see how that plays out. I think it could be a very good fixture for the neutrals. We're expecting, like I said, I'm expecting a 2-all draw, so I'm expecting to see some goals being scored.
Yeah, oftentimes you'll find that these derby these days become very tactical. Teams tend to cancel each other out. But for some odd reason, I just think Slot will approach this one fearless. He is inexperienced in terms of these derbies. I'm sure he'll be setting up his team to go out there and really get a win, dominate the ball, take the game to Manchester United, and hopefully find a goal or two. Of course, the impetus should be on United playing at home to really take the game to Liverpool, but we see where that over the last couple of matches is not possible. I don't know if it's a case where they don't have the players to really possess the ball for any long stretches, or it's just a tactical approach by Ten Hag to give the opponent the ball and then, as you say, play on the counter attack. So it should definitely be an interesting game. Number of other games as well could possibly throw up a few surprises or upsets. I don't think the Man City West Ham game is a gimme. I think Lopetegui over there at West Ham may have a plan up his sleeve. In all honesty, a number of new West Ham signings looking to make an impression, and possibly some other players coming in at the end of the transfer deadline also. So that's another thing to keep your eyes on. Will any of these teams make any big signing? For example, we see Liverpool signing the Italian international Chiesa. No one saw that coming. All talk was that Liverpool needed a number 6, another defensive midfielder, but they have gone ahead and signed a winger, adding further depth in terms of their attacking threat. And I'm not sure if this game might come too early for him. The ink is probably not dry on the papers yet, but he is another player that Liverpool should be able to call upon as the season progresses. But that's one of the things I'll be looking forward to this weekend. Who will these big teams sign? We still see Chelsea being very active over there in the market, going in and
Maybe maybe that
yeah.
maybe that Chiesa signing is a sign that Mohamed Salah will be moved centrally to utilize his finishing.
Who to tell? Who to tell? That's a possibility. I mean, we see from time to time Klopp has employed him in
Not
that,
Klopp
you know,
anymore.
attacking role. So who to tell? But I mean, Mohamed Salah over the years, he has been a tried and tested right winger, and I don't see that changing much as his preferred position per se. But lots to look forward to in the league, gents. But there you have it, viewers and subscribers. Thank you again for tuning to us here on Beating the Press podcast. Of course, continue to support us by sharing, liking, and of course, leaving your comments. Tell us what is your prediction for this big Manchester United versus Liverpool derby match. Leave your comments in the comment section. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.